We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome. So,
Thank you.
so happy you are here. Really excited for this interview. I created this Wednesday Wisdom series in order to provide a platform for women to share their stories, their wisdom, how they've navigated their lives, and share the work they do in the world and more. I think it's a way for me to spotlight each of the members of the Ageless Goddess Vibe tribe. And so we can learn about one another, get to know each other in community. And then, I pass on the link to my guests so that they can have it to use however they wish, share with their families, share with their friends, or with their communities. And the reason really, I felt deeply called to shift women's perceptions of themselves as they age, in addition to shifting our cultural false beliefs around aging. And I feel our world and our country now more than ever needs the full expression of women's voices, creativity, and women's intelligence. So this week's Wednesday Wisdom is with the fabulous Barbara Franklin. We actually met over the internet because we both have the word ageless in our Facebook groups, and we found each other, and it's just been a pleasure having you at events. And I'm really excited for you to share your all your stuff with us today. So let me just give a little background for everybody about you before we dive in. So, Barbara is a communication consultant who works internationally. She specializes in communication for change. She worked for the UN and big non-government organizations. She's worked in 47 countries. It's amazing. Over the past 25 years, while she was living in Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand. She just came back to San Diego 5 years ago with her adopted son from Thailand so that he could become a U.S. citizen. When she came back to the U.S. after 25 years, she was shocked at how ageist our society had become. She thinks age has become it is our dominant reality story. We see ourselves and others as ages, if not an exact number, then a generation or a decade. It's the closest thing we have to a single definition of who we all are. It's so normalized that we don't see it, she says. And although it's a very profitable for business, age-linked marketing is a constant, right? For the rest of us, it's not a good story. The age story, according to Barbara, is a lifelong set of expectations, limitations, predictions, and stereotypes that we are expected and expect ourselves to live by. So when she thought of a change campaign that her own country needed, it was with regards to age. She knows that many people are in the process of revising age expectations, and that's good. But for her, she thinks we should ditch the whole thing. She takes agelessness seriously. She thinks we should all have the option to be legal adults, and that's all. It's an incredible sense of freedom. I definitely agree. And she's writing a book about it called Ageless, How to Lose Your Age for Good. So welcome, Barbara.
Thank you, Liz. I'm so glad to be here. I love Liz. I love her group. I love the gatherings that she does, the retreats that she does. And so I'm very, very flattered to be asked to join you.
Oh, of course. I'm so happy you're here. So why don't we just start with, I want to just give you like a few minutes, 5 minutes to just talk about your story. Tell us your story for those of us that don't know you. Whatever parts you want to share, wherever you want to start is fine, whatever feels right for you. But I just want to kind of give you that time to introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I've had an unusual life because I've lived overseas since 1991 when we went to Vietnam and then to Laos and then to Thailand. And I was living in Thailand and sort of still am living in Thailand in the sense that I have a rented house there that has all my family's stuff in it. But we can't get back there right now because the pandemic has caused the borders to be closed. Mm-hmm. So I'm here in the U.S. with my son. I'm a change communicator. That's my job. I work in behavior change communication. So I am called in usually to travel, but at the moment I can't go anywhere, so I have to do it all by Zoom, which is strange, by Zoom and email. I'm called in when a country needs to develop a change strategy. I'll just give you an example. Right now, I'm working with UNICEF Kazakhstan on a communication strategy for preventing violence to children. So, what they want to do, they want to teach parents how to parent in nonviolent ways. So instead of giving your kid a whack when he's shouting in the store, you have another way of dealing with the problem. So another set of tools. So this is a national campaign, and they are planning the campaign, but I'm called in for a consultant is kind of like a spare part that you rent from the store when you don't have it. Like I like to equate a consultant to the carpet cleaner, the deep cleaner. You don't have your own deep carpet cleaner. You rent one when you need one, right?
Right.
You have the other things to keep your house clean, but you rent the deep carpet cleaner. So consultant is sort of like that. So I'm called in to work on strategy and messaging and balance of media and so on, things like that. So I've done it for years, for 25 years, almost 30 years, and in many, many countries. I know 47 countries sounds like a lot, but they're short-term consultancies, usually just a couple months. So 2 a year is not really that much. So I've been very lucky to see so many countries, and not as a tourist, but as somebody who works with the country on its own change process. So that's what I love to do.
I love that. I mean, that's just an amazing thing. And I'm curious, like, how has it been? It just came to me when, when you're going into another country as a non-citizen of that country to change something. I would think that that could be difficult, but if I guess with your communication skills, you're able to maneuver that. But I'm just curious about that.
Well, I'm a helper. A consultant is a helper. So I go in and talk to the people in charge of the program and say, what do you need? What do you want to do? What do you want to find out? A lot of times I help people find out what the audience is already thinking so they can know what to say to them to make things change,
Yeah.
So people tend to get isolated from in their businesses, in their work. For example, somebody working in the UN in Kazakhstan might not have a chance to talk to many people in the countryside about what they think about how to raise a child, for example. So getting research done, and if that again is not done by me, but I may help them organize it, and then we look at it together and see what they can learn from it about how people feel and think and what they want, and then we try to craft a campaign that will help people just see things a little differently. Change is gradual. You have to shift how you see things. It doesn't happen overnight.
No.
There's no magic bullet.
No, absolutely, and right.
You can make a law to say you have to wear a seatbelt. That's like a magic bullet. But then, of course, the moment somebody's not looking, if you don't really believe a seatbelt's important, you take it off. So real change comes from the inside. It comes from a change perception of reality, and takes time.
Absolutely. And it's developed your whole sense of patience too, for as being the person coming in to help, which is a great I think skill to have, or as part of what makes you up. But I was going to ask you, I was curious, does it happen that sometimes you get called back in if like there's a campaign that they need you to come back to either? Yeah, I would think so.
That's the fun part. This is my second job with UNICEF Kazakhstan.
Mm.
I'm very pleased when I get called back, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
Exciting.
ideally, I will have helped people in the country learn how to do things and they won't need to call me back, Like a good teacher always, puts themselves out of a job by teaching people
That's
how to do
right.
things themselves. But
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun to go back. It's very
Yeah.
fun.
Very cool. I think that's such
And
a
when I
cool.
can go, it's really wonderful. I mean, this is my difficulty right now is that I'm having to apply for jobs that I can't go to, that I only can do online. And that's going to be a challenge. So I hope this doesn't go on for too much longer.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think, amen. I think everybody feels that way. But I think somebody like who's been at traveling so much, it's to stay in one place for a long time is a weird. I've had friends too who just travel for work very regularly, and it's just been very hard. They just,
Yes, feel stuck, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We
But
all feel stuck
well,
right
I think we all feel a little stuck collectively and individually, and for all the different reasons, all the different reasons that we all have, based on what's going on. So let's talk a little bit about our ageless mindset. And I'm
now.
wondering when you did say that when you came back to the States that you really felt that you noticed how ageist it was, and um, so that's pretty much when you felt the need that we needed to change the cultural views on aging to one of agelessness. And so why do you feel that way? And what does an ageless mindset mean to you?
Well, I think that we all have an ageless mindset. We all are ourselves our whole lives. And sure, we have new experiences, we get some wisdom from it, and there's some physical things that change our whole lives long. But I personally have never really felt that I changed very much in my essence, in who I really am inside. And I look back to when I was a little girl, and I remember, yeah, it's the same. I'm the same. It's the same. Uh, but society lays on us this overlay of years and decades and generations that that are supposed to and do shape us. And I don't think it's a good thing. I really don't. I think it squashes human spirit and creativity and all the things that you started off by saying we need right now, and especially need from women.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, it does it to men too, but it really does it to women. It
Yeah.
really does it to women.
Yes, which
So
is why I focus on women. I know you focus on both, but I think it is a little bit more of how the devaluation scale goes for women, is much different than for men. But I so agree with you that it's so dangerous the way that you're cut at this age, this age, this age, this. It's so limiting. It's such a like not a mindset of expansion and growth. It's a mindset of, right.
exactly, Liz.
Mhm.
Exactly. It's a mindset of increasing limits as you get older, as your life passes, you're more and more and more limited. And you know, I mean, I have friends who have decided, well, we're at an age now, we might as well find a retirement community. And I went, no, please. I mean, not that it's bad to live in a retirement community if that's what you want to do, but the idea that that is something you have to do at that age because you are supposed to. What really bothered me, I think what I noticed really first when I came back to the country was how advertising had changed. That
Mhm.
was the first marker of it that I really had seen. And when I was starting off, when I finished graduate school, I got a job. My first job was an advertising copywriter. I didn't have it for very long. I didn't have it for very long because I didn't think it was a good job for me. But I remember at that time there were two kinds of ads. There were ordinary ads, which were information ads. How much does this washing machine cost? What can it do? And then there were what they called image ads.
Mm.
And image ads were new then. They were new then. This is back in the late 60s, early 70s. They were new. And it's like image ads. So you don't buy the washing machine because it can do something. You buy the washing machine for the image that it has or what it says about you. And that was such a, I mean, it's a very creative concept, but it's also, I think, very dangerous
Yeah.
because it's so becomes so ageist. But the idea was that everything that you own and do represents you somehow, and therefore everything is sold to you that way. So now there are no other ads than image ads.
Mm.
99% of the ads we say are selling us based on how the product makes us feel or makes us look. Very little in the ad, even an ad that says, "Oh, this car can stop stop your kid from running into another car or protect your baby in the backseat. Even those ads have so much image built into them that little bit of information is really not the point of the ad. The point of the ad is the the age, the type, the social category, everything about the person that is shown in the ad. So because advertising has become like that, the marketer's job is to find out what we are like. And the first job of the marketers is to segment us by age. And I found this infuriating. So what that means is that as we look at TV, as we, magazines or look online, scroll online, everything we see is telling us who the marketers have decided we are, should be, want, and should want, and feeding it back to us to make us be and want that more. So we are constantly being shaped by pictures of us that are 100% age limited. 100%. One of the reasons that I think I noticed this when I first came back is that one of the first things I saw was that everything I wanted to sign up for or do started by asking me my birth date. And I'm like, why? Why do you need my birth date? What does this have to do with signing up for Starbucks, coffee?
Right. Right.
Because they want to be able to know who I am, so they know where their market is, so they know how to market to me, because everything is age-based. And when I saw that, I went into rebellious mode and started to refuse to give birth dates. And I don't give birth dates. I give my birthday to the bank, because otherwise they won't let me bank there. I give it to the feds, because otherwise they won't, let me programs. And I give it to airlines, because otherwise they won't let you fly. And I gave it to my doctor, although I didn't think I should.
I was wondering about that.
Look at my body and not some age category and what disease I'm expected to have. So when I go into the doctor and they give me a form that says, if you are over this age, fill out these questions, I just cross it out. I said, don't look at my age, look at me. So
I love that.
I fight with the doctor about it. But all the other things that you have to sign up for, that you have to put an age online, that they won't let you go sign up for it unless you put your birth date, I make one up.
I love that. I love that.
And it's never the same twice. What gave me great joy the other day is that somebody taught me how to look up what Google knows about me. Have you ever done that?
No.
Oh, Liz, it's really fun. I'm going to tell you how when we finish this interview.
Okay, definitely.
You can go to that will tell you everything that Google knows about you. And it's very interesting. So I went through this website. For example, they look at how you scroll and how you click on things, and they compile information about you. And they don't know how old I am. They don't know.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad.
I think that's fantastic, because every time I have to fill something out, I put in a different year.
I love it.
I put the same day and a year of my choice. How am I feeling that day? How am I feeling that day?
I love it. And again, right, our spirit doesn't age, so we could be any age we want to be. I did that a lot when I would go to the gym and on a machine, and it would say put your age in, and I would always say 25. Like I just said 25. I don't know. Yeah, because why does it matter what age I am in order to move the machine? I can understand what weight maybe, because that might have to do with how the machine works, but the age, I did a similar thing to you, but now I like that. And people say to me a lot, like, what, I'm not ageless. I'm happy with the age I am. And, and I get that. Not everybody has to not, know, but it's really, it's about the spirit, it's about how do you live, and and what the limits that you get put on you, like you were saying, it's the whole, like how they, I guess, lure people into those retirement communities and into like Florida. I always say Florida because no offense to anybody who goes to Florida. I think it's a very nice place, but it's just, where they sit, like when you get old, that's where you're shipped. And I don't agree with that at all. Like we need to all be together at all ages. Like there's no, that's how I know, that's how I feel. So I'm wondering if there's any any pivotal moments or defining moments where besides seeing these commercials, or anything that in your life that had a radical impact on you regarding agelessness, or just any kind of pivotal moment that you might want to share that we can learn from?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, in my book, I'm writing a book about this. I think I told you. In my book, I vary between, alternate between little stories from my life that are all pivotal moments and chapters about what I think the impact of marketing is on us, and what I think age marketing does to, or what the age concept does to our social relations and what it does to our creativity. So I've taken all these areas that I think, looking at ourselves as age-centered people, uh, is not good for us. Those kind of chapters with pivotal moments, little moments from my life.
Mm-hmm.
One that I start with, I'll tell you the one that I start with because it's really a good one. I was on an airplane coming back from, I was working in the Maldives, which I'll tell you, if you ever get to go to the Maldives, if you like to snorkel and you like the ocean, go to the Maldives.
I'd love to.
Beautiful. Anyway, I was working there. So I was coming back from the Maldives to Bangkok, where my catch a plane to my home in Chiang Mai. And I was sitting next to this nice looking guy. He was, I think, South Asian, Indian, or I don't know, maybe Bangladesh or something. A nice looking guy. And we started talking, and we were having our drink before dinner and so on. And I told him that I was a communication consultant, and we talked about our work, and he was doing I don't know what. And then at one point he just turned to me. I guess this is a male thing. I don't. We can talk about male things another time, but his duty or his right to give me advice about myself, right? So he turned to me and he said, if you want to look more professional, you need to give up the long hair. Short hair is more suitable for a woman your age. And I said, without hesitation and without planning, I said, oh, well, in that case, I'll just give up the age.
Mm.
And that was the end of that conversation. And then I didn't say it to be mean. I said it to be agreeable. I wasn't challenging him. I just was saying, well, if that's the case, if you're right about that, then I obviously can't be that age because I like long hair.
Right.
And then I started thinking about it. What if you really did give up your age? What if you said, it's not the most important thing about you. In fact, does it even really exist? If you look at deep spiritual teachings, it doesn't exist at all.
Absolutely.
Exist at all. I mean, I'm a student of the Course in Miracles. I don't know if you know the Course in Miracles, but
Yes, I am also. Yes.
The Course in Miracles has nothing to do with age at all. It doesn't believe in time, so it can't believe in age. And
Right.
yeah, that was but there were a lot of moments in my life where I felt inhibited or pushed around by the age concept. And I have decided overall that it's not a good way for people to look at themselves, and probably we should ditch it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. Do you have any thoughts about like what gave rise to such ageism in our culture? Like where it came from?
Well, I think I actually kind of blame the marketers and advertisers, marketers, the market economy, and also, yeah.
And I mean, and beauty.
We're very linear. We're a linear culture, and we can't really help that. I mean, that comes with being Western. We're linear. And this is another thing. Living in Asia for 25 years definitely helped me to get over age because they are not that they are not ageist. They have their own variety of ageism, but ultimately, people living in Asia have a kind of circular view of life.
Mm.
If they're Buddhists, they believe in reincarnation, and they think that your essence is always there, and you just come back, and sometimes you're young, sometimes you're old. You kind of just keep going. But we are very linear. We believe in birth, life, death, heaven or hell, and age is kind of built into it. But we don't need to. I don't think we're going to get rid of it completely in our culture. But I would like people to have the option to say, "This is not what I do." I don't do that. Yeah.
I completely agree. And it's interesting that we are so linear, and that came from, I mean, I think it came from a patriarchal viewpoint, but I also think that it doesn't make any sense because everything is cyclical, everything in nature, and we are nature. It goes around and comes,
Indeed.
creates and births and lives and dies and transforms, and so it's interesting. So yes, I mean, I think the media, again, the media, beauty, the fashion industries target younger people, right? And I think it makes us feel less valued, and it's dangerous and toxic. And I think you would agree on that,
I
right?
agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
So this one is probably not, you're going to probably answer this, I imagine, but that because age is not a factor to you, but is there anything you'd like to learn, try, or experience?
Oh, yes. So many things. So many things I'd like to learn, try, and experience. Yes. And yeah,
Good.
so
And
many places I'd like to go. Yet I'd like to finish my book, and I'd like to, which I work on every day, but because I'm working for money as well, don't have all the time I would like to spend on it. What I'd like to do so many things. I would like to get much more fit than I am. I know I can. I don't feel like I can't because of my age, which I
good.
don't have. But if I had one, it would be telling me that I shouldn't try to get fit. I should be happy that
I love it. I love it.
honestly, so many things I'd like to do. Gosh, I want to get much, much better at since I think that the internet and how we communicate, how we're communicating now, is going to be a feature of our future life, whether we like it or not. I think we're going to be traveling less, unfortunately for me, because I love to travel. But I think we're going to be traveling less, and I think we're going to be doing much more remotely. I want to get much, much better at this kind of communication, about technically speaking. Yeah,
Yeah.
technical stuff.
It moves so fast. It changes. Talk about it, just always constantly changing. So but you will. I hope that this will help kind
Yeah,
of upspring you into it more. So can you tell us the title of your book again? And do you have any idea when you think it's going to be done?
I have. About 2 years ago, I finished it and printed a test copy, and here it is. So I'll tell you what. I'll show you what it's going to look like. There it is.
Ageless. How to lose your age for good.
Age for good. Thank you. Yeah, I love the cover. My daughter designed it.
Oh, nice.
Then when I read the test copy, I said, "Nah, I don't agree with that anymore. No, I have to change this and I have to change that." And so I haven't progressed beyond that. So I have a cover and I have lots and lots and lots of text, but
Uh,
um, I
you're
have
just revising it. Yeah, you're revising.
revising it.
It's exciting. It's
I want
exciting.
to. It talks about my philosophy, why I think age. I think age is a reality story. A reality story is something that you think is true because everybody around you also thinks it, and it sort of shapes how you see the world. I mean, but if you live overseas, if you live in other cultures and work in other cultures, you know that there's tons and tons and tons of reality stories out there that we don't believe in at all. You know, that people live by, but we don't believe in. We
Mhm.
don't think they're true. We don't follow them. I'll give you
Mm.
an
Yeah.
example. In
Hmm.
Nepal, there's a very complicated reality story about pollution. It's called Juto, and you wouldn't know it if you just went for a quick visit and a hike up the Himalaya hillside. But if you're there and working there, you begin to notice that you can't touch certain things. Certain people can't touch certain things. You can't ever, ever, ever drink out of the same glass with anyone ever. If you're in a bus and there's a water bottle that everybody is sharing, everybody will hold it so that it doesn't touch their lips. It's not just because of our reality story of germs, it's
Hmm.
the reality story of pollution. And here's how I learned this. I was having dinner with friends in Nepal, and we were serving, they had a serving bowl with beautiful white, lovely yogurt, and we were serving ourselves. And as I served it, I accidentally touched the serving spoon to my plate. That ruined the yogurt for everyone.
Oh, wow.
So I ruined,
Right.
by mistake, I ruined by accident the entire. yogurt for every other person by touching the serving spoon to my plate because I had transgressed the pollution story.
What is the pollution story? Like I don't, that
That there, well, it's very complicated, and I don't know it very well because
okay.
I'm not Nepali. And I'm sure that there are castes. There are caste elements. There are people who cannot pour water for other people
Mm.
because their caste is not the right one, and that's very entrenched in a very deep and hard to change reality story. But the pollution story has to do with not ever, ever, ever touching you or your plate or your spoon or your fork or anything to anything else that anybody else might ever eat.
Fascinating.
By taking the yogurt and touching the serving spoon to my plate where I had been eating from, that serving spoon was polluted and the yogurt was polluted and the dinner, they were very nice about it. Nobody blamed me. I'm a Steve. How would I know?
You didn't, right?
I saw I saw the presence of a story that was forming people's behavior and beliefs that I did not believe in.
Yeah.
Another example, ghosts. In Thailand, ghosts are real. Everybody can see them. Everybody knows they're there. Everybody knows you do and don't do certain things because of the ghosts.
Wow.
We don't believe them. We don't believe in them. So their reality, we don't believe in.
Interesting.
It just isn't true.
Some people do believe in them.
And I'm thinking reality stories shape so much of what people do and think.
Mm.
And yet other people can say, well, that reality story, I mean, let's be polite. We don't want to call it bullshit. We'll call it, it's false. It's not a true reality story. It's not true. I don't really think the pollution story has any validity for me. I don't mind if somebody takes a sip from my friend takes a sip from my wine glass.
Mm-hmm.
Share with them. I don't worry that my house might have had somebody die and therefore there's a ghost in the second story. Yeah, I don't believe it. So I'm thinking age is our reality story. We
Mm.
see everything through this screen, just like people in Thailand see everything through a screen that involves ghosts, and people in Nepal see everything through a screen that involves rules of pollution, what they call pollution. It's called juto.
Mm-hmm.
Juto.
Fascinating.
So if that's true, do we really need age? Can we say this is just not a true story? It's not true. It's not who we are.
Yeah, that's such an I'm very excited for your book. That's a very interesting way to look at it, right? Like I kind of look at it like most people believe X, right, about aging, and the truth is really, something really different. But it's based on our reality stories.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And our reality story in this culture is that we, decline, deteriorate, and get dis-ease, right? And the truth is not that. The truth is we can be vital and live, if we have a healthy lifestyle, healthy mindset, and you know, um, and be vital until one day, our heart
So
stops.
we just aren't there until one day we leave. Yeah, that's what I
Mhm.
think. I think we can be fine until the day we leave. And we can also be sick at all ages. And we can also die at all ages.
Mhm.
And we can also, yeah,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
be unwell at all ages and then well later when we get our act together. So I don't see it in this linear way anymore at all. And I think it's better. It's more healthy not to see it in this linear way.
I completely agree with you. Totally. Um, so I'm just going to ask. Well, let me ask you one other question that I had somewhere. But if there's anything like you would want, kind of to like populate the waters, for the future children coming up, to future generations, what would you want them to learn most and to get right, in this culture, I guess, from a young age?
I would like them not to compare their life journey with an age map. And we've been talking about older women, and I think this is women, longer lived women. Let's call them longer lived women. Let's call them. We've been talking about longer lived women, and this is where I think the attention is going right now with ageism. But ageism is a lifelong problem. I was recently in a group with women where two different women said, I'm not where I expected to be at 33. And I thought, oh, you poor thing. Don't do that. Don't do that. So we do, then there's, it's true that fertility has a biological limits to fertility, but these are really pushed now. People are having kids way into their 40s and even some into their 50s, and you can adopt at any age you want. So that's a minor thing. That's a minor thing. But I would like to encourage young people to not age themselves by putting this screen of expectations. In my 20s, I'm supposed to do this. In my 30s, I'm supposed to do that. And by 40, I should have blah blah blah. I would like to encourage people to consider retirement as a choice that they might make several times in their life. From this and try that, and then you retire from that and try something else. So I would just like to encourage people to grow up with more reference to their inner wisdom and less to external pictures of themselves.
That's beautifully said. I mean, and it even starts younger than even your 20s. I mean, you think about your entire lifespan. It's like if you're not walking by this age, you're not developing on this normal. So I think the messages start really, really early. I mean, if the weight of the baby. I mean, from everything that there's those what's in the normal range should also
Exactly. And the outlier is either a prodigy who's made a big fuss over, or a problem that causes distress for the parents and the kid. Yeah, no, it's not a healthy way of. I don't think age is a very sure we could count how many years we've been alive, and that's a number that we have. We can also count our BMI and our weight and our height and our shoe size. But when you think about it, age is the only one we use for everything. Choosing our friends, getting a job, deciding what we should do. Nobody ever says, "Oh, I've got to find a really great assistant who's a size 7." I don't want somebody with a larger foot than 8. Why? Why do we do this with age? We make it so central. It's just so irrelevant.
I completely agree. So much.
And and then you see wonderful people. I heard an interview the other day of a woman who had been hired to run something very important and who was 80. It was an NPR interview, and she was apologizing. She said, "I hope I can do it. I mean, they put a lot of trust in me." And I'm like, "Honey, you're obviously a talented, clever, wonderful person. Why are you doubting yourself because of your age?"
Absolutely. And again, it's saying it out there already. She's apologizing, so she's feeling like what she's going to say next, devaluing herself before she even speaks is not a good habit to get into, for sure.
Doubting herself.
Yes. And
yeah, we age ourselves. I guess that would be my message to future generations. Don't age yourself. Stay new all the time. I don't even like young, as a matter of fact. I don't like young. I like new. Yeah, because young is an age.
Yeah.
And if young is age, if young is good, age is old is bad, and it's all age. I think new can be good.
New is good. Right? New is good. Yes, I agree. And I don't like the word retire either. I don't like, it's like dash tire. Like, I don't want to be retired and keep being tired. I'm not planning on ever retiring, because that means I'm doing something tired, and I'm not going to do that.
Don't retire. Retread.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to ask you a couple of quick little kind of speed questions.
Yep.
So what energizes you? What lights you up?
Oh, gosh, that's such a hard question. I guess connection. Connection. Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
connection. And in the pandemic, when it's been hard to have connection, my dog, I connect with my dog and my son. So,
Mm,
but connection with new people really energizes me.
beautiful. Love that. What are you most grateful for?
The chance I've had to experience the world that I hope I will continue to be able to do.
And you will. And I don't,
Hopefully get through this,
yeah,
this
we will.
public health crisis we're having. Yeah.
Yeah. It all comes down to blank.
Love, of course. It all comes down to love. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it really does.
Success is blank.
Self-defined.
Mm,
Success is self-defined.
I love that answer. An inside, internal job, right? Relationships are
Tricky and essential.
very good answer. Sisterhood is
Essential, essential.
mm.
Sisterhood is essential.
Nice. Um, what does an exceptional day look like for you in a few words?
An exceptional day is one in which I feel like I get closer to something I care about. So either an insight or a little achievement of some sort, if I'm able to do something well and feel that, yes, that was right, that was true, there was some truth to that. That was a good insight.
Hmm.
That was a good formulation of a thought. Those kinds of things make a day really good for me. And then there's a lot of other things too, like being able to have a croissant and chocolate for breakfast and stuff like that, which I can't right now because I'm on this cleansing diet. But anyway,
Okay, okay. I won't ask. I won't ask you then what your favorite meal is right now.
I'm sure you're going to ask me. No, I once asked myself if I had to live on one national cuisine for the rest of my life, I was stuck on a tropical island with a chef. What kind of chef
Mhm.
would I want? And I think my ideal would be Indian food.
Ah,
Indian food.
nice, delicious.
Indian vegetarian food with, but not vegan because I like some paneer in it.
Very nice. Very, very nice. um,
Glass of champagne
lots of champagne for
and
sure.
chocolate for dessert.
You're making me hungry. Um, um, so what does, because I kind of have this idea about an ageless goddess, what does an ageless goddess, or what does ageless mean to you, or what does an ageless goddess mean to you? Because I think it's different. Again, it's self-defined, like you had said.
Well, I mean, it has two parts to it. It has an ageless part and a goddess part. And the ageless part is a person that knows they are themselves, always have been and always will be. And things change around them and they grow and learn, but they are themselves. They are truly themselves. They're not a 30-year-old or a 60-year-old. They're themselves. That's an ageless person.
Mm,
A goddess is a woman who knows we are divine. We are made in the image of God, and we're made in the feminine image of God, and that's who we are. And we treat ourselves that way and view ourselves that way,
mm,
love ourselves that way. That's a goddess. Do
gorgeous.
that. Give ourselves the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and radiate that out. It's beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love that. We're so aligned. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, I'm so glad I found you. I was
I'm,
the first person that I found when I started to look into this, and I really am glad too.
I'm so glad. So, if you could just tell us about how we could get in touch with you. Everyone wants to maybe talk to you more or work with you, or join your group?
I'd love people to come over and join my group too. My group is called the same name as my book, Ageless, How to Lose Your Age for Good, because that reflects it, How to Lose Your Age for Good. And that's the name of my group. There's a book page, which has the book on it, and then there's a group. And the group is a discussion group. So that's where the fun happens. We do things in there that I think are fun. We give awards. We give baddies for blatant ageist drivel. Baddies. And we give no ages. We give no ages for examples of people who truly do not age reference, who just live their life. I'm about to give one to Dr. Fauci. I think he really, really deserves it because he just doesn't make a big deal of it at all.
I love it. That's very fun.
A life, he has a job, he exercises, he doesn't make age a big deal. So that's what I do in my group. And I'd love to see people over there. I have a website. It's called No Age at All, noageatal.com, which is being developed. I'm just getting up to speed on some things like that.
That's so great. No Age at All. I love that name.
People get in touch with me.
Okay, great. Thank you, Barbara. This has been great. I mean, we could talk all day, I know. And you have so much great information, and I love what you're doing. And your group is also for men. It's men and women. So if you're listening, hop on over to Barbara's group and join the discussion. And just again, thank you for being on this program. And I appreciate you and your agelessness and all the wisdom that you bring. So thank you for being a guest, and till next time.
Thank you for inviting me. I've loved it. I've loved it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.